Dear students, welcome back to the chapter in statistics. In this chapter, we have seen how to organize a data in a table in the previous period. Now we will see how to represent a data graphically. There are various ways of representing data graphically. Can be a line graph, a bar graph, a histogram, or a pie chart. But here we are only looking for bar graphs and histogram. Histogram itself, there are two types, one with uniform width and one with non-uniform width. Here we need to see only uniform width. So let us see one by one. Bar graph, as the name says, bar graph is represented using bars of equal width to represent the data. And there will be space between each bar, and the bars will represent each item of the data. The height of the bar will give us the information about the frequency of each item. The next one is histogram. Histogram is also a type of bar graph, but the difference is that histogram is used for continuous intervals like time or a range of mark from, let's say, from 5 to 25. Such numbers should be continuous, or heights of students, it should be continuous. If you are talking about blood group or types of cars or such details, it is a discrete data. It need not be continuous. In such case, we use bar graph, but for continuous data, we have to use histogram, which means there will not be space or gap between the bars. Now, we have to note that the width of the bars can change if the intervals are different in the tabular data. But if the intervals are of same width, then the width of the histogram will also be same. So let us see with example. This is a bar graph. There is space in between each bar. The width of each bar is same, and each bar represents items like grocery, the rent, education, medicine, fuel, entertainment, and the others. And the height of or the length of this bar will represent the frequency. How many or how much money is spent for grocery, or how much money is spent for rent, and such details are represented in a bar graph. Remember, bar graph is represented for discrete data, which is not continuous. Now let us see two different cases of histogram. Histogram, as we discussed, it can be of equal width or non-uniform width. Here, the first one is equal width. You can see all of them have the same width. But here, in the second case, the first bar represents an interval of 20. Then all of them are 10, except the last one is 30. Both of them are possible. Now, we also have to note that in histogram, in some situations, it is relevant to start from a particular number and continue from there. Such cases, we put a wave here. This is called a kink, not king, it is kink. To show that it is not starting from 0, there is a break between 0 and the first number that we start. But once you start, it will be continuous till the end. Whereas in the second histogram, you can see the data itself is starting from 0, so we don't have to use a kink. Now let us see details with examples. A survey conducted by an organization for the cause of illness and death among the women between ages 15 to 44 worldwide found the following figures. Reproductive health cases 31.8, and the other details are given here. Represent the information given above graphically. So that's the first question. So let us see how to mark it on a graph. Remember, this is a discrete data because each one is independent. So this can be represented on a bar graph. No need of a histogram here because it is not continuous. So the bar graph, so it starts after leaving a space. Here starts the bar, and the first one is for reproductive cases. And the value is 31.8. So we have to raise the bar until 31, between 31 and 32. So somewhere here until here is the height. In your notebook, please use a ruler and then make straight line. Again, leave a space and mark for the second one, neuro psychiatric condition. So we can say neuro, it is 25.4. 25 is here. So that will represent new row, and continue the bar so that we get a graph of this form. Family fatality rate in percentage is on the y-axis and the causes of death are on the x-axis. So we can see the tallest one is reproductive cause. So that's the next question. Which condition is the major cause of women's ill health and death worldwide? The largest number is 31.8. So most women in the world are dying because of reproductive health conditions. Try to find out, with the help of your teacher, any two factors which play a major role in this cause. This can be because of lack of good facilities in the hospitals or unawareness among the people. Moving on to question 2. The following data on the number of girls to the nearest 10 means it is rounded. If it is 943, it is rounded to 940. And if it is 969, it is rounded to 70. Per 1,000 boys in different sections of Indian society is given below. Different sections are here on the first column, and the number of girls for each 1,000 boys are given, which shows number of girls are less than the number of boys in all the sections, and all the values are between 900 and 1,000. So we have to represent by a bar graph because this is not continuous. Each one is independent from the other. So let us represent it using a bar graph again. On the y-axis, you can even mark a king and then start from 900, 910, 920 until 1,000. It will give a big difference in the bar. This is also accepted. And remember, it's a bar graph, so there is a space. The first one is scheduled caste, or SC, which is 940. SC 940 will be somewhere here. And then using a ruler, join the ends to get the bar. Now again, leave the space, then move to the next one and mark it so that we get a graph of this form. Number of girls per 1,000 boys are on the y-axis, and all the sections are here listed in the x-axis. And we can see all of them are above 900. What conclusion can be arrived at from the graph? There can be two conclusions. In every section, number of boys are more than number of girls. And also among these, we have the second group, ST. In ST, number of girls are more than number of boys when compared to all the other sections. Let's see the next question. Given below are the seats won by different political parties in the polling outcome of a state assembly election. Political party, let them be A, B, C, D, E, F. The number of seats won are also listed here. Draw a bar graph. This is also a bar graph because the number of seats won by each party is independent from the other. First party won 75. Remember to leave a space. So this is for party A, 75. Remember to use a scale to draw a straight line. Again, leave a space. Then party B is 55. And we continue to get the graph here. Political parties A, B, C, D, E, F on the x-axis, and seats won are here on the y-axis. It is very clear that party A is the winner. They got more seats. Which political party won the maximum number of seats? It is party A. Let's see next question. The length of 40 leaves of a plant are measured correct to 1 millimeter, and the obtained data is represented in the following table. Draw a histogram. Why histogram? Because this is the length of the leaves. It should be continuous from 18 to 26, then 27 to 35, and so on. But remember, it should be continuous. And we have seen how to make an interval continuous. We see the difference between the upper limit of an interval and the lower limit of the next interval. Find the difference between them. 127 minus 126 is 1. Divided by 2, so it is half. Then add half to the upper limit and minus half from the lower limit. So the data will be continuous now. 135.5, 144.5 and continue. So this data is continuous now and we can represent it on a graph. So we have to take the length on the x-axis and number of leaves on the y-axis. Number of leaves, that maximum number is 12. So we need only until 12 on the y-axis, but on the x-axis we need to start from 118 and until 180. So we can start from 110 to 180. So when you start from 110, remember to use a kink, so that we are informing that it is not directly from 0. There is a break in between 0 and the first number, which is 110. Then 120. Now we can see from 117.5 to 126.5, there are 3 leaves. There are only 3 leaves. The next interval will be 5, then 9. The next one is here, which is 5, then 9. And we continue to get a graph of this form. So we have to take care of 2 things. First of all, we have to make the interval continuous and represent the length of the leaves on the x-axis and number of leaves on the y-axis, and we will get a histogram. You can see the width is uniform because the interval in the table is uniform. Is there any other suitable graphical representation for the same data? We can also represent it by a line graph or even pie chart, but this will be the best because it gives much details. Is it correct to conclude that the maximum number of leaves are 153 millimeter long? No, because it is an interval. It can be 145 or 146 or any number between 144.5 to 153.5. Let's see the next question. The following table gives the lifetime of 400 neon lamps from 300 to 1000 hours, and the numbers are starting from 14 to 86. Now represent the information with the help of a histogram. It's also a histogram because the data is an interval, continuous interval. From 300 to 1000, it's not starting from 0, so we'll use a king. So 300. 300 to 1000. And the numbers are less than 100. So first we have 300 to 400 is 14 lamps. 14 lamps will be somewhere here. With a lined graph, you can get the accurate number, accurate line. Next, 56 and 60. 56. Remember, in a histogram, there is no space between the bars. 60. And continue to get the final graph of this form. Again, this is of uniform width because the interval in the table is uniform. Keep practicing. This is really a lesson where you can score high mark, and there are no steps to by heart, or there are no formula to keep in your mind forever. Just do it and it will be with you forever. That's all for today. See you and stay safe.